Are you putting in offers to buy a home and not getting your offers accepted? Find yourself frustrated that you're doing all you can. You feel like you come with a strong offer. Again, you realize you're not the one that got chose. You didn't get your offer accepted. In this video, I'm going to go through why your real estate offers are not being accepted, what are most likely the culprits and the reasons, more importantly, what you can do going forward to have a better chance of getting accepted, right? I'm Matt, the mortgage guy. And in this video, I'm going to not just tell you what I see and what I hear and what I know works for clients getting into contract, but also tips and tricks. So stay tuned to the end because I'm going to share with you what I've seen work, what I've seen be the difference between getting an offer accepted and whatnot. As a mortgage broker who works with hundreds of people on closing loans every single year. We pre-approve thousands of people every single year. I talk to hundreds of agents. I talk to hundreds of mortgage professionals day in and day out. I'm going to give you a finger on the pulse in the most aggressive markets across the country, what you can do to help your offer stand out, what you can do to get your offer accepted in the future. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. As you would probably guess, and this isn't probably revolutionary to some people, first and foremost, the thing that you're going to do to, not get your offer accepted is just not offer high enough of a price, right? And so I think that, it would be wrong of me to say that pricing isn't the number one factor. But the good news is there's many other factors. And truth be told, it's not always the highest offer that gets accepted. It's more often than not in 15, 18, 20 bid situations, it's not the highest offer, right? It's a combination of things, right? And so I'll get into that in this video. But first and foremost, you've got to figure out if you're offering high enough of an offer to get an offer accepted. And within that, why are you not offering higher? Are you unwilling or unable? That's something you want to differentiate, right? If you're unwilling to pay $480,000 for a home, it's a lot different than unable, right? Don't qualify for that purchase price. Or if you're writing an appraisal gap, you're willing to pay $30,000 above. If that's something that is needed to get offer accepted, is it something you're not willing to do or something you're not able to do? If you don't have money in the bank and you're putting 5% down and you only have 5% plus closing costs to bring, then you're not able to write a big appraisal gap or waive the appraisal altogether, right? So that is something around price that you need to decide. You need to get real clear with not just your agent, but also your loan originator on what you're able to do, right? And then couple that with what you're willing to do, talk through your real estate agent, how you're going to submit offers, right? So there's a handful of things that all are going to be things that the seller considers. And the top ones, in my opinion, are price, loan type, if you're getting a loan, and newsflash, 85% of people are getting a loan. Cash offers, sure, they make up 15%, but let's not just say that I can't win because everything's going into contract cash. It's only 15%, right? So on the other 85%, loan type, the terms of not the loan I'm talking about, but the terms of the offer as a whole, and then speed and certainty, right? And I think that might fit into terms, but it's very important for some sellers that you're able to close in a short amount of time. And on top of that, you're able to close with a certain level of certainty. That goes back to your lender and your lender selling you and whatnot. So let's talk about each one of those individually. Price, obviously, if you've got something listed at $450, and you've got 17 different offers, there's going to be a handful that stick out that are all around 480 or 485, whatever that number is, right? I'm just throwing out a random number. So don't think that like in every market, 7 to 8% above list price is where things are going to land. But let's just say in this scenario, you've got a handful of offers between 475 and 485. What's going to happen more often than not is the listing agent along with the seller are going to get together and say, hey, here's 4 of our best offers. Here's some pros and cons, some strengths and weaknesses of each one of these offers. The 475, is one where they're putting 40% down and getting a conventional loan. Really strong. I talked to the lender. It's not very likely it's going to fall out. These folks have enough cash to buy this thing cash if they want to. They just chose to finance 60% of it. Yada yada yada, right? And then you've got 480. Hey, this one's 10% down. Another local lender who sounds great, who's done a loan for this person in the past. All this information, right? And then maybe at 485, it's a loan product with a smaller down payment. They're not able to write an appraisal gap. In this scenario, I think more often than not, you're going to find the sellers and their agent coming to consensus that this 475 or 480 with more certainty is more apt to get accepted than the 485, where if something goes wrong, the appraisal comes in short, there's any extra cash needed by the buyers and they don't have it, right? This is going to be a reason for this one to fall apart. So to the speed and certainty point, this is not going to be an offer that's going to get accepted. So this is how it kind of works. But I think that, in order to help somebody who's watching this and wants to know why your specific offer isn't getting accepted, think about how you're writing offers. Are they, demonstrated through your real estate agent and your loan officer that they're certain to close, right? That is something that's very important to sellers. When you have 18 offers to choose from, why would you choose something where there's a doubt at all that the thing's going to close, right? Is your offer written to the terms that the listing agent want? As surprising as this may sound, 70% of offers, and this is just my unofficial survey talking to listing agents, the buyer's agent either did not or did a poor job of finding out what the seller's needs were, communicating that with the buyer, and then putting an offer and terms together that meets the seller's needs, i.e., rent back of 30 days, closing within 24 days, removing a contingency on the 14th day so they can go out and submit offers to buy forward. Whatever the case may be, the agent needs to get really, really clear, or the only way to do that is through communication with the list side. What's important to your seller? How can we structure an offer that your seller likes, that fits your seller's wants and needs, right? Because every seller is going somewhere. Retiring to an RV, buying a house in another state, going into assisted living, whatever it may be, they've got needs. And along with those needs, different offers are going to suit them better, right? If they're trying to buy something in another state that's not going to close for 60 days, they might want to close this deal so they have certainty that it's closed, but then rent back from you, right? So if you're writing an offer and you know that, say, you know what? My buyer's willing to give you that rent back for free. Or they might say, we need a longer close. That's 45 days. They might say, we need something written in the contract where you're going to make up to 50% of an appraisal gap, meaning if we're in contract at 675 and it appraises at 625, you're still willing and able to pay 675, because we know that there's not a lot of comps around here, that it might appraise low for whatever reason. And if we've got a cash offer at 655, we'd like to take your 675. We'd like you to buy it. But if it appraises low and that blows the deal up, it doesn't do us any good. We might as well take the cash at 655. So all these different things need to be communicated, not just from seller to buyer's agent, but from buyer's agent and the buyer putting together offer. They've got to put this stuff in there. They've got to intertwine this stuff into the offer. So when it gets presented to the seller goes, well, gosh, this looks like all the stuff we're looking for. This looks like a good deal for us. We'll accept it, right? So I think that is something that not a lot of people do. And based on the listing agents I've talked to, if only 1 in 3 offers are doing that, then you're going against 15 offers, but really you're only going against 3 to 5, right? Because only 3 to 5 of them are actually doing the work to do that up front. So if your offer's not getting accepted, it might be a case of that, that the homework is not being done to write offers that look attractive to sellers. Or back to an earlier point of mine, if you're unwilling or unable to change in price or in terms, that might be hurting you as well. And I've talked to enough buyers, I've had enough pre-approved buyers that have been in the market for 3, 6, 12, 18 months to know that those who are less flexible with the terms they're offering, less willing to maybe step out a little bit in some of these super competitive markets, are just not going to get an offer accepted, right? Especially if they're going after homes that are highly competitive, other people are looking to buy them. So I think, I might have talked about a bunch of different things, but I hope you get the point that if your offer's not getting accepted, you're either just not being aggressive enough with pricing and terms, or you're not collectively with your real estate agent putting together terms that are attractive to each specific scenario. Each house, each seller has different wants and needs, different ways they want this offer to be structured and submitted. Does price play a part? Of course it does. Do terms play a part? They truly do, right? And it's a combination of those things, along with, let's be honest, agents that do business want to do business with other agents who are communicating well. They are listening and structuring the deal in a way that makes sense to the sellers. They can tell that stuff during these negotiation processes, right? If there's no communication going on and an offer gets sent willy-nilly with nothing that speaks to the seller, no matter what the price is, that offer is less likely to get accepted because they've just come out of left field and said, we're willy-nilly about our business and we don't necessarily need to talk to you about how you'd like it to be structured. I know what I want to write and I think that this is good. I'll throw this and see what happens. So that's enough about that. Just, a little bit of, boots on the ground feedback on what's going on, the conversations I'm hearing being had. In closing, I want to tell you tips to get your offer accepted in a strong market, because this is things that I've seen that work, and they'll keep you from being 12, 18, 24 months of offers and frustration and never getting something accepted. Biggest piece of advice: if you're serious about buying a house and you've identified something that works for you in your budget, don't go in with, this should probably work. Let me try this number. Let me try these terms. If you like it, go in strong and do it from the very beginning. Meaning, a house is listed at $685,000. You've talked to your agent. They've talked to the list side. They've identified it's probably going to take, a $720,000 offer, shortening the appraisal contingency or removing it or writing a gap, whatever those things are. Know what kind of your best and final is, and say, you know what, I'm starting with that. $725,000, willing to pay $50,000 above appraised value, willing to shorten the contingency period for inspections to 10 days. Don't need a loan contingency because I've talked to my lender and that's all dialed in. Whatever that is, don't go in with something slightly weaker thinking, oh, I can always move it up if need be. Go to that up place from the start. And if you'd like, if you've got a real estate agent that is comfortable and wants to do it, maybe you reverse it on the seller and use a little bit of, hey, we're putting together our very best foot on this initial offer, but my client's really looking to get into something very soon. And so this offer expires Wednesday at noon, right? Write it really strong, make it super attractive, but then let the listing agent know this is only good till Wednesday at noon because we're also going out and looking at other stuff. Then it kind of flips it, right? Where the seller's got a really strong offer and they've got to present, the listing agent's got to present to their seller, this is an amazing offer. We should probably accept this. And oh, by the way, in 36 hours, it's off the table. So it's not like we're going to be like, that's good. Let's wait and see what else comes along. If this is a really strong offer that works for you, let's accept it. Let's move forward, right? So really strong from the start. Think about putting, some sort of expiration on there. I've seen it done, and I've seen it done really with success. That's why I'm saying it. I'm not a real estate agent. I just happen to work with a lot of them and happen to see thousands of contracts every single year. The second piece of advice that I'll end with is that make sure that your real estate agent and the lender you're working with are your advocate. They don't necessarily need to come as a package duo, and I'm not going to provide any parameters or whatnot for who this needs to be. Although I think, the folks that do a lot of business tend to know what they're doing, tend to have more of an idea of what's going on. But even if they don't do 100 transactions a year, 500 transactions a year, like some lenders do, make sure that they're an advocate for you. The lenders are calling the listing agent, talking about how well qualified you are. They did all their work up front, all the due diligence to make sure you've got a full package and you're fully pre-approved, and they can demonstrate that and communicate that to the listing side. And on the real estate agent side, make sure that your real estate agent writing a strong offer, writing it based on feedback they got and communication they had with the list side. They're detailing the strength of your offer, and they can do it in an email to go along with the offer that they just sent. And they're talking about, all the different reasons you're a strong offer, all the different things that, after listening to the conversation with the listing agent, they kind of talk that back to them, right? Here's exactly what you said your seller wanted, and here's how we're presenting it. Let's get this thing rolling. So that's that. In closing, if you have any questions for us, any way that me and my team can help, we are more than happy to. Go to greatmortgagebroker.com, fill out a form, let us know where you're at, how we can help. I feel like I might have been a little long-winded in areas here, but this is a huge concern for a lot of people. So I hope I did it justice. Again, greatmortgagebroker.com, fill out the form if you'd like to speak with us. We're more than happy to help. And until next time, we gonna see.